Hey, it's Mike, and today I'm in Bloomington, Illinois at Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. Now, this cemetery has a few notable, well-known graves, and so we're going to check some of them out here. So the one thing they have here is a statue dedicated to Dorothy Gage. It's actually Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. As you can see Toto there, and if you get closer, you can see that she's standing on the yellow brick road. I mean, there's a lot of detail put into this statue. Carved out of a tree, and the artist actually wrote on a tree here, up here. Let's see if we can get a shot of it. It is dedicated in the memory of Dorothy Gage. I don't know if you can see that or not, but hopefully you can. And then a nice lady was helpful. It was nice to me, and she told me where the grave site was on Dorothy Gage, and she is back here. So this is the rededication gravesite or gravestone, and she actually died after 5 months of a brain tumor, I believe it was, and she was a niece of Frank L. Baum, or L. Frank Baum, and she was a namesake for Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Now on the back side of the rededication is the actual gravestone. This was the original gravestone here of Dorothy Louise Gage of Mr. and Mrs. T.C. Gage, June 11th, 1894. June 11th, 1898 to November 11th, 1898. Now, up front, there's actually a plaque that they say explains, after the death of Dorothy, the family up and moved to South Dakota and left, poor little Dorothy here. But there it is, the gravesite of Dorothy Gage, who was the namesake of Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. So this is basically a plaque that explains what happened. Dorothy Louise Gage, June 11th, 1898 to November 15th, 1898. Dorothy was born to Sophia Jewell and Thomas C. Gage. 5 months later, the family was devastated by her death. Shortly after this, Thomas and Sophie left Bloomington for Aberdeen, South Dakota. Dorothy's uncle, L. Frank Baum, named the main character for Dorothy in his book, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. They give a small comfort to his wife, Maud. In 2017, it was decided that this tree had to come down. Bill Baker of Top Notch Chainsaw Carving was asked to take on a job of carving Dorothy, Toto, and the Yellow Brick Road from the tree. This stump was carved in June of 2018 and gives beautiful tribute to little Dorothy and how she forever affected children's literature. Now, a lady I was talking to earlier told me that there's actually a baseball player buried here, and he's got a wood carving just like Dorothy has, as well as Vice President Adlai Stevenson. So let's go check those two out, if we can find them. Okay, so I found the baseball player. I'm not exactly who he is. The lady told me who he was, but I forgot. So, thankfully there's a plaque that we can read and find out who this gentleman was. The statue looks pretty awesome. And it's just like the Dorothy statue. It's made out of a tree and carved by a chainsaw. Okay, just like Dorothy, this one has a plaque as well. This gentleman is actually Charles Oldhouse Radbourne, born December 11th, 1854, and died February 5th, 1897. He was inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1940. Charles pitched professionally for 11 years in the National League and Players League. In those 11 years, he won 310 games and lost 191 for a winning percentage of .619. In 1884, he won 62 games and lost 12. As of 1940, the 62 wins has remained the record for games won in the major leagues. During 1 month in 1884, Oldhouse struck out 411 men. In 1882, 1883, and 1884, his best 3 years, he had 147 wins and 56 losses. No pitcher has equaled this record in their best 3 years. And they say there's a plaque attached to the back of the monument that has a complete record of Radbourne's winnings. So let's see. So there's his grave. It's made of marble, actually. And it says on the back that there is a plaque here, and there it is. Charles Oldhouse Radbourn, a Bloomington man who became one of the greatest baseball pitchers of all time. Selected by over 200 baseball authorities to be one of the immortals of baseball and to have his name and record placed in the Baseball Hall of Fame at Cooperstown, New York, in the year of our Lord, 1940. He was a pitcher in the National League for 10 years and in the Players League for 1 year. In 11 years of Major League pitching, he won 310 games and lost 191 games. So basically, it's a repeat of the plaque that was on that I just read you earlier. But that is pretty cool. And there's actually the gravesite of Adlai Stevenson here as well. There's actually two Adlai Stevensons. One was vice president under Grover Cleveland, and the other one was the governor of Illinois at one point. And they both are here. So the first one is actually Adlai Ewing Stevenson the first, from 1835 to 1914. He was the member of the 44th U.S. Congress from 1875 to 1877, and the 46th U.S. Congress, 1879 to 1891. Under President Grover Cleveland, he was the first assistant postmaster general from 1885 to 1889. He was also elected vice president of the United States during Cleveland's second term of 1893 to 1897. He twice made an unsuccessful bid for the office of U.S. President on the Democratic ticket in 1952 and 1956. He named U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations by President John F. Kennedy and serving in London, England until his death. So the grave marker here in the center is actually the governor of Illinois, Adlai Ewing Stevenson II, from 1900 to 1965. Like I said, he was also a U.S. ambassador in London, England until his death. This one here is actually the vice president, Adlai Stevenson, from October 23rd to 1835 to June 14th, 1914 is when he passed away. He was vice president under Grover Cleveland. Now, of course, when I was over there looking at the Adlai Stevenson stuff, I saw this grave marker. You know, it stands out because, as you can see, they're all pretty much basic looking blocks of granite. And then there's this one here. I think it says Susan Munson died October 25th, 1862, aged 77 years and 1 month and 14 days. And then at the bottom, this is what got me. I asked not to stay. Wow. That is one wicked sense of humor that she had. You know, I think I could spend all day here looking at different graves, because there's some ones that are quite unique. And in fact, I just came across the Civil War monument they have here, where they put all the Civil War veterans together in, I think, one plot. And there's a little dedication to them, which is quite neat, actually. Okay, one more actually. Now, like I said, the Dorothy one was a Cardtree soloist baseball player, and eventually I'll show you the airplane one. But there's also this grave marker that actually is a tree that is made of stone. And I'm not too sure what the name on the grave is. I think it's pronounced Laffer. I'm not 100% sure, and it's kind of rubbed off, so you really can't like read the names, unfortunately, but it is one unique monument. One. Now, unfortunately, Not everyone came back from the Civil War, and this one is actually dedicated to those members who never came back. It says, in the memory of the unknown dead and those who sleep on southern battlefields, 1861 to 1865. And what piqued my interest actually, it says down here, erected by William T. Sherman. I'm not sure what the WRC number 07 means, but it says 1904. So maybe someone can tell me what WRC number 7 means. And on the back side of that is actually this airplane. I'm not too sure who it's dedicated to, if it's part of that monument or not, but it is quite interesting. What's funny is I was looking at the airplane, in the corner of my eye, I saw a plaque. So I'm thinking the plaque has something to do with the airplane. This is the plaque for the airplane. As you can see, it says on May 31st, 1948, a group of citizens gathered at Evergreen Memorial Cemetery's Civil War Veterans Enclosure to honor those who had given to our great nation due to their military service. During the ceremony, a World War II trainer plane flown by James A. Tolley and a passenger, Chester A. Fram, was flying over Evergreen Memorial Cemetery and Park Hill Cemetery to drop poppies over the ground. On the second pass over Evergreen Memorial Cemetery, the plane crashed into this tree, killing Fram and severely injuring Tolley. It took years for cemetery personnel to determine that this was the tree that they crashed into. In 2015, this tree had come down, and cemetery employees felt something more needed to be done from the wood from the tree. Research was done, and chainsawist Tom Gill was contacted and accepted the challenge. A ribbon cutting dedication was held on November 7, 2015, and members of Tolley and Fram families were present and cut the ribbon. So like I said, this cemetery is quite interesting. It's in Bloomington, Illinois. This is the Evergreen Memorial Cemetery. It's not too far from Route 66, but there's so much history here. And it's amazing, the dedication that the cemetery has to people. They have no idea who they are. And they want to keep their memories alive by carving monuments out of trees for them. So I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later on down the road. And one more thing, if you ever come out here, be sure to bring mosquito spray. The mosquitoes will eat you alive, as they are me. Until then, bye.